See if that helps. Oh! Okay, we have a microphone. That is great, and that is pretty good timing as both Mercedes pull into the pit lane here. LNR Tim leading from LNR Ryan, as every single body else follows them in, and to no real surprise, to be honest, at this point in the race. 7 laps in, hard compounded tyres are going to come off, medium compounded tyres are going to go on. Interesting to note where Ryan will be. He is going to hold on, I think. No, he is not. He's behind one of the McLarens. Eleanor Luca has jumped in front of the Mercedes. And we have a race on our hands. The Mercs looked confident early on. They were controlling this race. However, they have we now have a cork in the bottle. W.R. Jerome hangs on in 4th. 5th for Lafitte. 6th, Jacob Boyer now moving on. But, of course, he is the leading driver with a penalty at the moment. NLR Mustache in 7th. GT10 Kiki in 8th. And WR Soapbox in 9th. 10th place ILT Jaden at the moment. Interesting from Cohen Mexman to go onto the soft compounded tyres. Maybe try to gain a leg in this stint. I'm a little bit surprised. I would have thoroughly expected the mediums to be the much preferred option, as medium pretty consistent to the end now, about 13-14 laps on both tyres. You might be able to stretch the medium stint, maybe go to about laps 22, 23. Come in, you only have to do 12 laps at the end then, or even later if you want to go madness. Maybe if you do want to put on the soft compounded tyres. Personally, I don't think it'd be a very smart decision, but who knows, maybe I'm just an absolute moron. And safety cars on this game usually last about 3 laps, so hopefully this one won't take too long. FRC Stanners, as I said, the driver that is out of this race. For the Haas, losing the back end in the final chicane, going to the inside wall. Unfortunately, for these drivers, it is quite a common problem at this circuit. If you catch the outside wall, it will spit you back towards the inside, and that's your game over. The Wall of Champions is a violent mistress, and it will not hesitate to take you out if it can. But drawing the attention back towards the front of the field and to the Mercedes. Now, I don't know much about a lot of these drivers. I'm going to hold my hands up and say that I haven't done commentary in about 3, nearly 4 years. So a lot's moved on since I was commentating. But what I do know is I know a lot about some others, and I know roughly what to expect from quite a few. And what I'm seeing here from Ryan and Tim is exactly the approach you want in these sort of events. 2 cars up at the front, controlling everything, essentially, and it's making a big difference early. They had full control. Can they control it? I'm not sure. Will things change the later we get in? Who knows? Maybe. Either way, we're about to come up to the safety car ending. SCT YCN waiting for them to catch the back of the field, and they have. The 2 Alpines running 16th and 17th. They got damage early, and the safety car is indeed in this lap. EXT Duncan has stayed out on his set of tyres. Nick NW as well, also on 2-lap old hard tyres. But here we go then. About to go back racing in Canada. And I am hopefully about to bring in a person to join me, because, trust me, I am very old. And commentary is difficult. So I'm just going to quickly... Never mind, I can't. Okay, fair enough. Seems like that's not working, so screw it. Who cares? Here we go then. NLR Tim leads them back to green here in Canada into the final chicane. They go, and it's pretty simple from here. Are they going to release very late? Yes, the Bottas strategy is enabled. And here we go then. Tim leads Luca, Rayan, Jerome, Lafitte, Boyer, Mustache, Kiki, and Sobox as we head back down into turn 1, and it's all square as it is for now. A little bit tightening up between the Haas and the Williams, but nothing too extraordinary and nothing too out of the ordinary, at least. And this is kind of what you expect from this point, is Jerome picks up a 3-second time penalty. Kiki picks up a 3-second time penalty. 2 drivers, same corner, no real surprise. Opening lap on cold mediums, those tyres are going to be like ice. You are not going to be able to feel them off the safety car. But they're going to be very strong, and this stint here could basically decide the race. And for Jerome, that is a big problem. Being in 4th with a penalty, as I said when I first managed to get on with a microphone, a penalty is such a big deal, as Braun also picks up a penalty in the AlphaTauri. Bit chaotic down into the hairpin with Kiki and Soapbox side by side. The Ferrari and the Red Bull down in towards the final chicane. I think the Red Bull is going to pull ahead, and yes they do. Kiki in front of Soapbox. Braun Hoyler going side by side with IRT Jaden also closing up as well. Close to the AlphaTauri's big slide for Braun Hoyler, who holds it on and manages to just stay in P12. Up ahead, Kiki and Soapbox again side by side, the Ferrari and the Red Bull. Now Cohen Mexman trying to squeeze underneath on those soft compounded tyres. I mentioned before, they are going to be very interesting during this stint, but holding on for now is Kiki. And for these guys, they have to try and stay in the DRS of the leaders, because especially with NLR Luca now picking up a 3-second time penalty. If this continues, penalties are going to be huge, and I will keep reiterating that until the checker flag. But for Tim, gap up now to 0.7 of a second. In their position, you want to be breaking DRS. If you break DRS at this track, it is so much easier to control. But with 3 DRS zones and all of them in a very complex area, yeah, you're going to struggle. But top 6, top 7, in fact everybody. It's great. Basically the entire field all in one DRS train. And now into the difficult final chicane. Any moves going to be appearing up? I do not think so. Lafiti now adds their name to the amount of penalties in P5 in the Williams. DRS now enabled here on lap 12. And it's this sort of point now where you've got so many inside the top 10 with penalties. So many, I wouldn't say so many divisive strategies, but not many that are going to particularly look like they're going to pay off. Here's the Alfa Romeo, the Red Bull, G10 Diaval, and IRT Jaden going at it. And Diaval manages to make the move stick up into 13th place. Alfa Romeo currently 14th and 15th, and still Alpine 16th and 17th. As here actually goes to battle for 15th place. A good exit, could see. EXT Duncan making the move on the Alfa Romeo. Cohen Mexman picks up another 3-second time penalty. Alpine decides to stay behind for now. I believe that is now 6 seconds for Cohen Mexman, which is not good for the other Williams, especially as the other Williams just got a penalty as well. Only 4 cars inside of the top 10 haven't got a penalty, and we're only on lap 12, and we've had a safety car. I can't say I'm too surprised. It is Canada after all. As Jacob Boyer now adds 6 seconds to their ending race time. And Brian Hoyler also makes the move, and Kiki has gone around, I think. Yes, they have. Kiki has gone round in the final chicane. I don't know if there's any damage. I can't see at the moment. No, there doesn't appear to be any damage to the front wing, but that is not good there for the Red Bull. Back up towards the front. Top group just starting to clear up a little bit. Jerome now falling to 9.5 tenths back. If I have to say, I think as Skylight picks up a penalty down in P12, I think Ryan might have the pace out of the 3 of them right now. Definitely Ryan has more speed than Luca. And if Ryan can clear Luca right now, this will be a complete Mercedes whitewash to the end, you've got to imagine. Third gear, great exit. That McLaren does seem to be struggling a little bit. Diaval and Skylight going at it down for P12. We're going to stick on the battle here for, as I press the wrong button. That's the right button, Ben. For P2, Ryan clears the McLaren pretty comfortably into the final chicane. That was a lot of the inside curve. We're going to have to be careful there. Does not want to pick up a penalty, especially as the top 2 are the only ones without a penalty at the moment. But a good move, but that was a lot of battery used. And battery, again, also going to be a problem as Kiki is now out and we have a second safety car. A second safety car of the race. We also have chaos in the pit lane between the Alfa Romeos and the Alfa Romeos and the Alfa Tauris. The 2 Alphas, the Alfa males, trying to go at each other. That was a terrible joke. Why did I say that? Shockingly, Steve Duncan actually staying out on those medium tyres. But Kiki, what has happened to that Red Bull? I'm assuming, yet again, it's another final chicane casualty. We're around aboard with YCN, see if I can spot it. Unfortunately not. But another final chicane casualty, and unfortunately, it's So it's so plausible at this circuit for a simple mistake, and that's it. Your game's done. Your game's done. Your life's... Well, I mean, your life's done. Jesus, that's morbid. But, that's morbid and a bit too close to my own thinking, personally. Bad racism. Okay, that's too much comedy. Well, so the Mercedes, what are they going to do? They obviously stayed out early. They obviously pitted earlier, and yep. As expected, I thought somebody would bite the bullet. NLR Luca bites the bullet. Now, if you have a set of hard tyres, you can go to the end. Not really possible. I'd be surprised if anybody does. Fresh medium tyres going on for both McLarens by the looks of things. Also coming in, Cohen Mexman, who went onto the soft combiner tyres in that previous stop. Bit of a hold there for Mustache, but they are now gone. Cohen Mexman out behind Soapbox and Mustache. So Luca actually rejoins in P6. This might be a very good decision by the McLaren boys. Now, obviously, Luca does have a penalty and has Jerome, Lafiti, and Jacob Boyer to clear. Arguably, still has to make another pit stop. Hypothetically, could do 20 laps on the mediums. Probably not going to happen. Especially given the fact we've had 12? We've had 2 safety cars in the opening 15 laps. Giving that up, we're probably going to have another one in about 6 laps time. But who knows? I mean, maybe I could be proven wrong. Looks like everybody bar the top 5 actually came into the pits on that time. So it's going to get interesting from this point on what happens. Like I said, the McLarens, 6th and 7th, arguably have the race potentially in their hands right now. If they can control, if they can get towards the front, maybe beat the Mercedes, a fresh set of, probably most likely a fresh set of soft tyres at the end, and boom, you're off. You've got a genuine chance at winning the race. However, going on to another set, if you went on to the mediums towards the end, well, they're used. You can't go on to the hards because you started on them, and they're probably made out of jello by now. Or jelly, as we call it in the UK. I don't know why I said jello. We're watching too much Simpsons lately. Good program. Back towards the top 2, the 2 Mercedes. Back where they wanted to be. Back in full control. WR Jerome behind. One of the leading cars with... sorry, not one of the leading car with a penalty. 3-second time penalty, I believe, is his current amount. Yes, it is. Lafiti also with 3. 6 for Boyer and 3 for Luca. That might be Luca's undoing here. Definitely caught the pace. Definitely could charge to the front. Just because of the fresher tyres, it's pretty simple. 20% mediums against 2% mediums. Probably going to get absolutely roasted. If Luca can charge to the front, take the lead, try and control, maybe might be able to negate the 3 seconds. But I'll be very surprised. Safety car, I believe, won't be in this lap due to the 2 Alpines being as far back as they are. So, unfortunately, we'll be getting another lap behind the safety car. As much as the racing has been fun, it's also nice to have a bit of relaxing time. Means I can have a drink. Has been an opening few laps of action, though. I don't like having a dead air, so I apologise for that. A little bit of space clearing up in the pack, as the Alpines have now caught up to the back of the field, so the safety car will be in at the end of this lap, and we'll have an entire half race, hopefully, of no yellow flags, no drama, and everything will be completely fine. That's just also not true. This race is only just now beginning to heat up, and I am super excited for what is going to happen now in these remaining 18 laps. Mercedes, I think, still have the advantage. I think, as I've mentioned the last couple of laps, Luca is the one to watch. Jerome, if he can jump one of the two Mercs on this restart, huge gain potential there. And what about the McLaren? What about maybe Soapbox or Mustache, who obviously don't have penalties? Are they potentially now in podium contention? Could Soapbox charge through and maybe get a podium? Could both McLarens finish this race with a 1-2? Be a phenomenal result if that does happen. But we are now getting ready to go back racing. And again, Tim slowing the field right down. But you don't want to do the same thing twice. You don't want to Bottas the field the first time and then try and do it again. Because people are going to expect that. They're going to know that this is possible. A driver's mind works very well, shockingly. Tim with a big check up into the final chicane. Are they going to go on the exit? Nope, they are trying to Bottas it. And Ryan ready, and so is Jerome. I said, didn't I? Going to go as late as you can, and there we go. Tim does indeed go as late as he dares. Laffiti is being caught out here. Jacob Boyer down the inside, side by side is turn one. Runs him out to the curb, a little bit of contact, a little bit more contact. Want any more, lads? I don't know, maybe a bit more on the exit as well, a bit more hitting. It's like a boxing match, except at 200 miles an hour. Side by side, and Laffiti does indeed take the move up into P3. Boyd Hoyler picks up now 12 seconds of penalties. Here comes Boyer back down the inside. Can't quite make the move stick. A little bit of contact, and now Luca. This is important. This is a big move the McLaren has to make right now, and through he goes. Luca up into P5. Has to clear Laffiti as well. This is huge for this race. If Luca gets stuck at this point, it is game, set, match, over, done. Mustache down the outside. Big lock-up from Boyer, who couldn't quite get into the corner. Laffiti trying to have a go. Big snap of oversteer. Jerome 3 wide between the Williams, McLaren and the Ferrari. It's like the 80s. All over again. Through goes Luca. And up into P4. Laffiti now. I think Jerome actually has a problem. He's fallen all the way down to 13th. What has happened to Jerome? That was not in the script for Jerome, who was potentially looking at going for P2. Side by side now with YCN. Virginia stacked up a little bit behind the other Alpine and has fallen all the way down to 15th. WR Jerome there coming out on the bad end of the stick. Nick NW 2008 has had to make a pit stop for, I'm assuming, a new front wing, which is unfortunate because that is a long way now to go to the end of the race. As Boyer has made a move on Laffiti. Laffiti's fallen away back to P8. What has been happening in these opening laps of this stint? It is pandemonium. Down the inside goes Broad Hoyler. And now Laffiti having to go over the chicane. From P3 to P11, Jerome and Laffiti have fallen right down the back of the field. And here goes Skylight trying to look down the inside. Can't quite make it move. Little bit of contact. Everybody's concertina up a hairpin. It is pandemonium at the moment. Dioval now getting past Broad Hoyler. Well, Hoyler coming back. Red Bull versus AlphaTauri. And Hoyler moves over. Oh, no. And the safety car is deployed yet again. And Broad Hoyler has also been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Now that is Codemasters Formula 1 gaming in a nutshell. Because that wasn't a disqualification. However, that was also the AlphaTauri's fault, in my opinion. When you go inside by side into that corner and you move over on somebody on the outside, it's a recipe for disaster. And unfortunately, you have to be aware there's a car there. And for Dioval and Hoyler, well, unfortunately, accidents happen. For Dioval, is this race over? I don't know. He's having to go on to second lap old medium tyres. That is not good. Laffiti onto fresh mediums. That could be good later on for him. 15 laps on those. He, of course, stayed out. IGL Skylight drive-through penalty speeding under the safety car. That is a youch, especially as his teammate is now out of this race. It's not for the first time, but not exactly great either. Now, Tim and Ryan, you've got to imagine... Okay, I was about to say, got to imagine they're going to pit. They do not. 12 lap old medium tyres, they decide to stay out. Jacob Boyer, one of the other drivers who pitted, who didn't pit on the first stint, sorry, does pit. IRT Jaden comes in. IGL Skylight, of course, had who got the drive from speeding under the safety car, comes into the pits, and Jerome as well, who I'd love to know what happened, because it just seemed like he suddenly stopped going. A weird coincidence, but I've got to hope it's not a problem, because it's a huge blow, because in my opinion, I think Jerome had a good shot at this race. And this, yet again, brings the McLarens back into play. Luca and Mustache, again, back into this race. Luca, especially. Arguably, this is game on now. The penalty does complicate things. But can he be the one to break the Mercedes monopoly? Because that's what it seemed like today. It seemed like Mercedes have formed a monopoly over the race. And if that's the case, then who knows how this is going to turn out. And the thing is, with 13 laps to go now, irrespective of what tyres you can put on, they're probably going to make the end. I am genuinely surprised the Mercs didn't pit. However, if it's going to be a safety car fueled race, track position could be key. And while ERS, DRS tends to be the deciding factor mostly in this game, I feel like I want track position at the moment. I can see why the Mercs would have pitted, but in the same token, track position is a great advantage, and who knows, maybe this is the right way to go. We shall see at the end. Credit WR Soapbox as well, being up into P5. I wonder who actually is the biggest gainer right now. It is Colin Messman. Up 11 places, though I think they do have quite a few penalties. Oh, just 3. Okay, never mind. For some reason I thought they'd never paid up much more. They're up 11. EXT are up 9 and 7. Boyer is up 3, which is kind of surprising to say that they're battling for the lead a lot of the race. Though, of course, for context, I wasn't here for qualifying. I joined literally as the lights were going out, so I apologise if what I'm saying could sound like I'm trying out my ass. I don't think we're going to go green this time, unfortunately, as Nick NW is only just catching up to the back of the field. So it will be another lap under the safety car, which isn't too bad. It's just time for... Apologies there, got a message from my mother I was trying to sort out. As a legal carer, I can't ignore my phone if I get a message from her. With 12 laps to go now in this race, this is open and interesting. A relatively short pit lane means about a 13-14 second pit loss. Any pit stop now, you can get to the end. The Mercedes surely have to stop again. They will be in serious danger if not. Anybody who stopped on the previous safety car might make it to the end. They will be extremely touch and go. Obviously, we've had a lot of laps on the safety car. If there is no more safety cars, you're potentially looking at the likes of Jacob Boyer, IRT Jaden as the ones that could end up with track position at the front. Because fresher tyres and also the possibility of just a generally good result. But here we go then. Will it be 3 times for LNR Tim using the Bottas strat? Or will they change it up? Maybe go a bit early out the final chicane. Bit of a check-up into the chicane. And does go a bit earlier, actually, on the exit, catching out his own teammate. NLR Ryan does get caught out a little bit. And Luca is on the charge immediately to turn 1. Doesn't like there's going to be any changes of position. Yes, there is, actually. Jerome makes the move at Aiden. 3-second time period of Jacob Boyer through turn 1. As Jerome makes his way up into what will now be P10 in the Ferrari. And he is one of the guys who have got a lot of room to make moves. Up at the front, Ryan poor chicane. Here comes Adelar Luca. Will he spit out to the inside? Maybe the outside. Maybe he'll just jump over it, mini driver style. Why not? Into the chicane. Not really going to be able to make a move through there. Mustache also getting very close to the back of his teammate. Gaining. Boyer also close to the guy in front of him. Down into the hairpin. Nobody going to be making a move, I do not think. I stand corrected. Boyer makes the move. And Jerome as well. Trying to go around the outside of the Alpine. This is a very interesting move. And gets it stick. A brilliant move from WR Jerome. Jacob Boyer as well now trying to go after the other Alpine. But EXP Duncan, who has been kind of towards the back of the field all race, but up into P7, sorry, actually. My massive mistake. Trying to just keep it clean. One of the Alpines spits out in the background. That's side by side with one of the Ferraris. That is not Jerome. Sorry, it is Jerome. It's YCN who goes wide. Jaden comes through. Side by side now comes GT10 Diaval. And not quite there for now. Back up to the front. Luca hasn't got it done yet. But surely it's only a matter of time against these two Mercedes. Goes about Lafiti, gets the move on Nick and W. Who actually stays ahead. I wonder if Lafiti's had an issue here, or they're going side by side. They are going side by side, actually. Into the chicane. Lafiti forced over the curb. And will probably be getting frustrated, you've got to imagine. Potential for a podium today is being really spat out the window. Sends it down the inside into the hairpin. Gets really close and not quite able to make the move. Or do they on the exit? I think they're going to get the exit anyway. Not quite. Moving back up towards the front of the field again. Getting close for the lead, but not quite any sort of moves for now. Moving now on to lap 26. DRS now re-enabled here in Canada. About this time we've had every safety car, so let's hope that doesn't happen again. Because this is going to be very fascinating to the end. The entire field in one DRS train, apart from LGL Scarlight. And that might be the killing blow for NLR Luca. A 6-second tyre penalty now. And that might be the killing blow for the McLaren. Jerome gets by Duncan for P8. Probably into the chicane. If so, it sounds like a pretty good move then. Towards the back, Lafiti makes a move on Nick, and also Diaval makes the move on YCN. A good exit for Luca. Jerome with another time penalty. That is not going to help his raising the tyres. That's now 6 seconds. As one of the Haas's, Boyer with a massive send on Cohen Mexman makes the move stick, moves up into P7. Boyer, who has one of the freshest tyres inside of the top 10, is now into P6 and potentially the most dangerous guy on the circuit. Luca has a look potentially on one of the Mercedes, can't quite get it done. There is action absolutely everywhere. Nick and W picks up a 3-second time penalty. Jerome now going after Marksman into turn 1, gets the move done pretty comfortably and up into P7. Jerome needs to go with Boyer, especially with Boyer's pens. Boyer now making the move on Soapbox and pretty comfortably gets that done. Swapping positions for P5. Boyer is on it, getting close to the back end of Mustache. And with a good exit, I think we'll clear the McLaren. But I'm not sure when it comes to battery. Mustache does definitely have more at the moment. 30% compared to 15 Jerome as well, not exactly great on Matt, and Soapbox as well. Kind of not really anybody, apart from the Mercedes, really, who are good on ERS. Down the inside goes Jerome at the hairpin. He is, not Jerome, goes Boyer at the hairpin. Absolutely loving that move at the moment. Jaden gets by Duncan as well. In the background, it is absolutely insane. Luca gaining, still not able to make the moves on the Mercedes. NLR 1, 2, and 3. As it stands. Actually, credit to Luca, has got quite a lot of battery. There goes Jerome on Mustache to turn 1. Pretty good move there from the Ferrari, right back into the positions where he started. Jerome was having a good race at the start. Something then happened out of the hairpin before the second safety car. And unfortunately, since then, it's been a comeback fight for the Ferrari. But I tell you what, it's been fantastic to watch. Gaining now onto the back of Jacob Boyer in P4. Can the Haas challenge for the lead with 7 laps to go? The Mercedes have done 20 laps now of their medium tyres. How those tyres are not completely exploding, I do not know. Lafitte gets by GT10 Diaval up into P11. And currently, you have to imagine the race is still going to go the way of the Mercs because of penalties. Boyer gets Luca at the hairpin. That hairpin is becoming the Haas's best friend. He has absolutely no battery, but is making it work. Ryan pulls out to have a little look down the inside of his teammate. Boyer basically shoving the Mercedes through the chicane. Gaining. Not able to get the move done unless he absolutely sends it to turn 1. Decides against it, and not to blame him, really. Jerome and Luca are having a bit of a... Well, I'm not sure I can show that on TV. Mustache now into 6th. Mustache, as it sounds, I think, will still get a podium. Jerome goes off in the chicane and into the wall and loses his front wing. Jerome and Luca, and a late safety car is deployed. Cohen Maxman also picks up a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Soapbox. And what on earth happened there? Jerome coming together with Luca. I'm going to assume, given the fact they were ghosted inside of each other, that's a connection crash. I think Luca also, yes, he has lost his front wing. So that's the McLaren and the Ferrari, both of which that were challenging for the podium, now in serious trouble. And I have to bring it immediately to them, what will Mercedes do? Surely, at this stage, they do pit, and Boyer comes in as well. Everybody coming in from the front. Does anybody stay out for track position? Boyer gets a 5-second time penalty for collision with NLR Ryan. I'm not sure exactly what happened there. It does appear that every single driver is coming into the pits for a set of soft compound tyres. Oh boy. I think most likely got to imagine that, yeah, so Ryan has lost out here. He's fallen to P4. IRT Jaden now been a P5. Boyer P6. But for LLR Tim and LLR Mustache, this is huge. WR Soapbox also into P5. So the top 5 don't have penalties. What a sudden change to this race. The 5-second time penalty to Boyer, I didn't see. I'm assuming it's the case of Ryan was trying to back up, perhaps to let Tim get a bit of a gap so he's not hold as much. I'm not sure. I don't want to point fingers, obviously. But yeah, a huge moment there. For Jaden, that was his 4th stop of the race. For Diaval, it was his 5th. For Nick, it was his 6th stop of the race. Now, I know people have won from 6 stops in Canada. A famous British man did it in 2011 in what is arguably considered one of the greatest Formula 1 races of all time. I don't personally think so. I think it's a top 10, but I don't think it's one of the greatest. I think it's a bit of a bold statement. Bit of roast into glasses, if I'm honest. But that's just my personal opinion, and I sound very old now. But so this race will go green, I think, on lap 31. It's going to be, I believe, a 4 lap sprint to the end. I will be very surprised if Edelal Ryan does not end up on the podium at the end of this, or in the wall. It seems like at this point in the race, the gloves have been firmly shattered off. Man alive, am I excited for this finish. I do apologise for the quality of my microphone. Usually I use a HyperX headset, but unfortunately it doesn't work with my console. So I'm having to use a set of headphones that I bought in 2019 when I used to commentate, that have been sat under my desk for about 2 years unused. So I'm shocked they're even working. But enough about my own technical problems and back onto the race. It is going to get spicy. Tim, I think expecting it perhaps to come in this lap. And yes, indeed it is. Safety car in this lap. We are set for a 4-lap shootout here in Canada. NLR Tim leads NLR Mustache, leads WR Soapbox. NLR Ryan in 4th. 5th IRT Jaden. 6th Jacob Boyer. 7th EXT Duncan. 8th GT10 Diaval. 9th Colin Maxman and 10th EXT YCN. Luca and Jerome came together. That's what caused this whole safety car. That is the chaos we are dealing with, and that is why this race is very spicy. Mustache literally riding the rear end of Tim into the final chicane. And does Tim drop it immediately? No, he's holding it. Going for the Bottas strategy as late as he dares. Now they go. And Tim will lead them into turn 1. From Mustache and Soapbox, Lafitte and Jerome already going at it in the back. Boyer and Jaden going at it for P5 and P6. And Boyer is immediately through on the Alfa Romeo. Cohen Mexman and clears GT10 Diaval, gets very close. Doxman gets a penalty. And so does Cohen Mexman. Penalties are going to be so important. Ryan down the inside, tries to stand at WR Soapbox, can't make the move. A good exit might swish them around though. Mercedes and Ferrari go side by side down into the chicane where John and Lazy once had a massive crash, and through goes Edelal Ryan up into P3. A huge move in this space. Romeo Jerome picks up another penalty. Here goes Jacob Boyer down into his favourite overtaking place. Clears one, sends the other. Makes a bit of contact with the Mercedes and is almost through. Jacob Boyer has been so aggressive into that hairpin. The man thinks it's Kamui Kobayashi. As a little peek down to the inside, can't quite get the move done on Ryan. Ryan has a brilliant run through the chicane. Mustache just not get a good run. And I think this is going to be a pretty easy switch to positions. I said Mercedes were the ones to watch. I said Mercedes were going to be dominant. And again, Edelal Ryan up into P2. And you've got to imagine this race is done at the front. But for that last podium place, it is no less than anywhere near close to be done. Boyer with another penalty. Firing himself through, trying to go around the outside. Edelal Mustache sends him through, pushes him up onto the curb, and through he goes up into P3. Boyer has been nothing but raw excitement today. He has made me very, very happy to watch. Unfortunately, he is going to be all over the place and going to lose out a lot of penalties. I believe he has 17 seconds of penalties. Yes, he does. The most of the field by over 8 seconds. Can he go after Ryan and maybe cause some trouble towards the back? Lafitte with a big run. They are 4 wide. Contact with Red Bull, the Ferrari, the Alpine, and the Williams all coming extremely close to blows. On the exit, Lafitte, YCN, Jerome and Diaval all extremely close. The Alpine is weaving all over the place. He is not very happy. You've got to imagine into the last chicane. Are they staying step aside? Yes, they are. And hard into the wall goes WR Jerome. It has been an absolute disaster of a race for Jerome. Diaval also out. That is both Red Bulls out of this race. And unfortunately, raw chaos has ensued. Edelal still leads. For Jerome, it has been a race to forget. And for Diaval, I'm not... That was just a lot in a very short period of time. Towards the back, Luca gets by Nick, and they're all getting close as well. Luca, Nick, and Skylight for P11, side by side into the John Lazy crash corner. Skylight sends it, gets very close with Nick, can't quite get it done. Luca now switches down the inside and will get close. They make a bit of contact. The McLaren and the AlphaTauri. Well, he said it by down the inside. No, he does not. Luca holds position for now. Everything's much calmer than it was a lap ago. As we now head on to the final lap of the race, NLR Tim with a huge lead. 3.3 seconds, easily clear now. Ryan and Boyer second and third. Soapbox gets by Mustache, and that is for the final podium position. Because of the amount of penalties Boyer has, that is a huge move. Luca is now out. I believe that is a pit lane retirement. It is. So Soapbox with a big move moves up into P4 and realistically commits will watch this battle to the end. Mustache has driven very, very well. McLaren have had an absolute torrid time. You've got to argue so have Ferrari. Luca and Jerome both out, both potential race winners today. Caution in the first sector, that is just Luca's AI car. I think Soapbox is going to hold on. Kiki has now left the session. And if anything, I think Jaden might be able to have a go at Mustache into the head, but Jaden has just 50% battery. As a look down the inside, not able to get the move done. Mustache has basically none. Same with Soapbox. As for between Boyer and Ryan, going into the final chicane, I'm going to have to cut off from these two in a moment, but let's have a quick look. Doesn't seem to appear to be that Jacob Boyer is going to be doing. I don't think. NLR Tim out of the final corner. A dominant performance from him. He wins in Canada. NLR Ryan second. Jacob Boyer in third. Big penalties being applied to him though. Soapbox in third. Fourth Jaden. Fifth Mustache. Sixth Duncan. Seventh is Lafitte in the end. Great comeback drive to finish P7. EXT YCN 8. Cohen Mexman in 9th. And Jacob Boyer finishes in the end in P10. Wow, what a race. That was a lot in such a short period of time at the very end. Whew. That actually felt quite good to get back into commentary. For the first time in such a long period of time. That was really fun. Here we see the podium drivers then. The Mercedes finishing 1-2 here in Canada. A great drive in the end from Tim because especially it looked to be that he was the dominant force from the literal get-go, and him and Ryan drove a brilliant race without so much really as a problem. As I said then, Tim takes the win from NLR Ryan. A simple 1-2 for those two. WR Soapbox comes home in third. ILT Jaden in fourth. NLR Mustache finishes in P5. A very strong race from them. EXT Duncan finishes P6. 7th Lafitte. 8th EXT YCN. 9th Cohen Mexman and 10th Jacob Boyer. 11th Nick NW. 12th IGL Skylight. And your retirements: NLR Luca, WR Jerome, GT10 Diaval, GT10 Kiki, FRC Standers, and Braun Hoyler. All unfortunately retiring from this race. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. It was a very interesting return to commentary. I don't know if I'm going to be streaming more often, but please do consider giving a follow because it is genuinely worth it. And thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.